Hello, 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 and welcome to My Empty Hands, a podcast about the martial arts, typically focused on Kempo, but today I am very, very, very excited to have a wonderful, wonderful guest, Mr. His Capoeira name is Malandro, and we'll get into that a little bit here in a sec, but yeah, I'm really excited in that. I was kind of thinking about this earlier, and even though this is a Kempo podcast, Capoeira is my. I have to consider Capoeira as my core system. I was kind of crunching the numbers, and I've actually been in Capoeira. Capoeira is the martial art I've done the longest. So coming up, it'll be coming up on 18 years in November. So
Wow.
that beats my time in Kempo by quite a number of years, and the other arts that I've done by a whole lot. So yeah, Capoeira is definitely my core system, but yeah, we are going to get into Malandro's journey here in just a sec. I usually kick things off with my little brief background of my history. I formerly started in the martial arts in the 90s, starting in Chinese Kempo. Since then, I have, of course, I've done Capoeira. I'm training in American Kempo. I've also recently started in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, and I'm also doing Taekwondo and Hapkido. So, and I've done some boxing as well. So I'm pretty busy, but I love it. There's not enough hours in the day for me to get to everything. So, just try and kind of cram it all in as I go along here. But that's kind of my story a little bit, and we'll possibly get into it more. But I'm going to turn it over to our esteemed guest. How did the martial arts find you? Where did it all start? And we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here on your podcast. Man, it's so interesting that you mentioned Kempo because that Kempo was my first official martial art that I trained back in Detroit. I was taught by Muslims. So I believe it was Kempo karate. Yeah.
Very nice.
Um, and it was good times. Trained Kempo karate about a year. In the late 90s, around 95, 96, where The Quest, the movie The Quest,
Oh
got
yes.
released in because I remember I had already known of Capoeira through, Only the Strong and Tekken. And when, I happened to see the Quest, saw there was a capoeirista on there. And I remember trying the next day after seeing the movie, the next day I was trying to apply the movements in our sparring sessions. It did not go well for me. But not too soon, not too long after that, then I actually found a capoeira class in Livonia and also at the Detroit YMCA. And I got one of my high school friends to give me a ride to class. And then I've stuck with it ever since. So I started capoeira back in 1997 when I was 16 in Detroit. And eventually, the master day of the group came to teach the class. And then after that, I got a chance to meet him, I was like, man, I need to be where he lives. And he was living in Berkeley, California at the time. So actually around like when I turned 19, I packed up and moved to Oakland, California, and started training capoeira out there in the Bay Area, the Northern California, and got my, went through the belt system and continued to train religiously, and traveled to Brazil, went to Brazil a bunch of times. It was much easier to get visas and travel out of the country back then. Yeah, and then after that, let's see. After that, I give the abridged timeline. Around 2005 is when I was actually living in Brazil and traveling all over Bahia, Ceará, Minas Gerais, São Paulo, and training with different mestres of different lineages. I prefer to say like lineages or segments of capoeira rather than styles, because that really kind of like limits the personal expression that people have. And sometimes when you say like a certain style, there's particularly, for example, and I know I'll get a chance to touch on it with capoeira regional. There's incorrect stereotypes that kind of like are attached to certain types of capoeira. So yeah, 2005 to 2006, I was living in Brazil. I received my contramestre cord in 2006. And then 2011, I actually started like my own official group under our own name. It was called Mandinga de Escravos. And I had also met Master Nanel and trained at his school in Salvador, Bahia. And, kind of fast forward, I eventually joined his school officially in 2013. And I've been with Phyllis Chibimba ever since. And now I'm in charge of two branches. I opened the first Phyllis Chibimba school in Oakland, California, which is still in existence today. Been 22 years now. And then what else? And then also obviously Atlanta. So with that, I was able to open up the door. So now we have three Phyllis Chibimba branches in, actually four. I apologize. Oakland, Atlanta, Texas, and Detroit. We have four branches of Phyllis Chibimba, all from, it starting in Oakland, bringing Master Nanel to the States. And I've been doing capoeira ever since.
Very nice. Very nice. So apologize to the listeners. I'm probably going to jump around a bit because there's a lot of different things that are kind of popping in my head. And I am very much a white belt in preparation for this show. So we'll probably bounce around, but just a couple of some points that kind of came into my mind. With me, starting in both my core systems, Kempo and Capoeira, were influenced by movies. Kempo was Jeff Speakman's The Perfect Weapon, and Only the Strong.
The Tiger Ring.
Yeah. I saw that and was instantly hooked. And then Only the Strong for Capoeira. Saw that and said immediately I have to do that. So I find it interesting that the Quest was the one that got you hooked versus versus Only the Strong. So which granted, sorry for those that love the movie Only the Strong, but now that I've been doing capoeira for this long, and I still watch the movie, I still love it, but now I realize how little capoeira he actually uses in in the movie. The quest would be a better example of seeing real capoeira, but
Yeah.
I find that kind of funny. But we're gonna kind of jump back here. For those that aren't familiar with how kind of things work in capoeira, one of the things that we have is apelido, a nickname, a warrior name, just a kind of name that we go by. And in my case, my apelido is Negao, which I guess is just I guess the easiest way to describe it. I just say a big black guy. So if you've seen me, I'm sure you're questioning how I got that name, but that's my story there. What your apelido is Malandro. So can you inform our listeners what that is and how you got that name?
Uh, there's many words to describe a malandro, but it's someone who is kind of a trickster, street smart. If you ever watched Disney, the animated one, because it's better than the live action, the animated movie Aladdin. Aladdin was the malandro, kind of like someone who got by on his wits. Just someone who's kind of crafty, cunning, in the terms of the capoeira. So those are the elements, the attributes that I tried.
Gotcha.
As a malandro.
Very nice, very nice. So let's see, where do I want to go with this? I let's talk about you're starting a group, teaching, or I should say, the teaching part of it. When was that something that you kind of always wanted to get into, or did that kind of come later? Did I lose you?
It kind of started off just with assisting with classes. Once I moved out to Oakland, California, the my friend kids classes. So I was able to just kind of join him and assist, kind of like my first taste of it. Basically out of state, you got to find work. And one of the jobs I was able to find was actually, and I was able to, I would just go to the open gym so often that the coach was like, "Hey, you come here so often. If you like teach kids, you don't have to pay to work out." And at that time I was like 20 years old, 19, 20. So I was like, okay, cool. But I'm really grateful to Head Over Heels Athletic Arts. That's the name of the organization. And they really taught me how to be a good teacher, how to break down movements, spotting, progressions, regressions. And I just developed a love for working with kids from that. And my first actual capoeira class that I started from the ground up for kids was actually at Head Over Heels. So yeah, and it just kind of grew from there.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things. I've got to do some teaching over the years, and just being able to kind of help and spread the joy and spread the knowledge, and it's just so empowering, and seeing the students
Hmm.
excel and grow, and just kind of pick up things is it just really kind of fills you up, and just makes you love the art just that much more. So big huge props to you for all that you've done, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just really excited about that. So
It's been a process. It wasn't like I uh it wasn't like I knew what I was doing 100% like early on. I had to uh pay my dues, had to study on how to teach, how to break down movements, also how to deal with different personalities, because working with the youth, working with kids is as opposed to working with adults, just to like, get it in my own like style of pedagogy as well.
gotcha, gotcha. So since the I would say the majority of my listeners are not capoeiristas, what would be some things that you would maybe say about maybe the misconceptions, incorrect perceptions of capoeira as a martial art, as a art form in itself, as in an activity that people do. Maybe in your years of training, what are things that maybe you've heard, or from talking to people, what are things that maybe they have wrong, or don't quite understand about capoeira, that you probably want to get out there to
Yeah.
inform people on?
Yeah, I think with knowledge of something, it's all about like what information you have access to and what you're given. And a lot of times, people have, in my opinion, like a very limited view and information about what capoeira is. Um, and nowadays, they see videos on Instagram, they see videos, YouTube, um, of just, fast movements, some fast kicks, or, acrobatics, and people doing combination movements that kind of look a little bit like breakdancing mixed with, tricking. Um, and all that's fine. But again, the same, that the information that's being shared on these platforms is just kind of an aspect of it. Clarify that capoeira is a art form, just an art form. And from there, there's different aspects of that art form. There is a martial art component, specifically with Filosofia and Capoeira Regional. There is a self-defense component. You have philosophy, music. It's movement culture. A lot of the people who do these primal movement culture kind of classes implement a bunch of elements from capoeira to me into their programs. Um, but I also think that capoeira is at its core like a form of expression, and the individual learns how to express themselves in different ways. It can be more combative. It can be, more dance like and more playful. It can be a little bit deceitful. It can be all these things at once, and it can be one of those things at a time, or one thing per. interaction. Today I'm more combative if it's what I'm feeling inside, and also moving, relating to the rhythm. But I think just a brief history is that capoeira started off as a fight. It was used by the enslaved Africans to liberate themselves from captivity, and one of the many uses of the term capoeira comes from the location in that the enslaved Africans would hide in the forests. And then when the Portuguese would send the bush captains to recapture their property, and the Africans were fighting back with the primitive movements, that eventually became known as capoeira. And after the abolition of slavery, the more ritualistic elements of the music, the more dance elements got added into it. Not added to disguise it, but added as far as like being connected to African roots, because music and dance permeates everything of African culture. So it's rightfully so that their combative games, or even their combat, would be more rhythmic in its expression. But the thing is that if you are needing to defend yourself in a, on the streets or something like that, you are absolutely not going to all of a sudden start doing the Jenga, as the other person is squaring up with you.
Oh yeah.
But there's, kicks and dodges and fakes and things that we do that are that can be applied. Those resources can be applied for self-defense. It's just that the majority of the people who see capoeira always see it in a game aspect, and that's what they're limited to. So that's how they make their assumption of like, oh, it's dancing, and oh, I don't understand how this can be, uh, used in a martial arts situation.
Yeah.
But that's all. It comes down to the information.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I picked up in with training. You get hooked with seeing all the big flips and big kicks and things like that. But once you start learning it and start getting more exposed into the deeper parts of it, then you realize the functionality and the effectiveness, and it's not just some kind of show thing that some funky new dance or anything like that there is a lot of more substance to it. And I am someone that I would argue that capoeira is much more is much closer to, well, I would say, so like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can kind of go 100% kind of full bore when you're quote unquote sparring. And I think capoeira is very similar to that, in that when you're in the roda, when you're in the game and stuff, you're essentially going 100%. Yeah, you're not connecting the kicks, but I feel the techniques we're going more full on than in a typical karate taekwondo school, where we have to kind of hold back some of our movements because they're the kind of killing movements and stuff. But I feel like in a capoeira situation, that's much more closer to fully committing to techniques than a lot of other arts. But that's kind of the way I've always seen it. So there's a lot more meat to it, and a lot more effectiveness than I think people realize, which I think is one of the things that helps capoeira, and that it's and why it's survived, and why it continues to grow and be spread. If it wasn't effective, I've always said if art isn't effective, then people wouldn't
Yeah,
train
there
it.
is an element of control. Yeah, I think also with that, it's like it depends on the desire of the person training, because you know, sometimes someone is training an art form because they want the health benefits of physical activity. Maybe they get more of other benefits from training an art form beyond just self defense. Um, you know,
Jump around here again.
No problem.
So I of course have to bring up your little role in the world of Hollywood, and
Sure.
so you did have parts in both the Black Panther movie and Avengers Infinity War. And
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, you also had some influence or involvement with Tekken, the game. Is that correct? Or
No, the Tekken game that was before my time.
oh, okay, gotcha.
But what I am, what I'm in the process of doing now is trying to get involved with the new Virtual Fighter project. Sega is reviving Virtual Fighter,
Oh,
and they have yet to implement a capoeirista or a capoeira fighter. So trying to, manifest that, get put together, footage of me doing motion capturing that I've done before, reaching out to Sega and RGG studios. And just getting the word of mouth out there that I'm trying to get in connection with Sega and RGG studios to be involved with their new new Virtual Fighter project.
oh, okay, fantastic. I didn't even know that was happening. That's
Mhm.
that's going to be.
Now watch it pop up all on your feed now. That's all you're going to get.
Yeah, probably. Very nice,
Mhm.
very nice. So with the movie thing, how'd you get involved with that?
I was actually in Oakland, California, preparing for our annual event, Zoom Dimba, and I just happened to look at a Facebook casting call from a group called Black Panther and Storm Appreciation Group. And they were looking, it was a casting call for Black Panther, and they were looking for African or African American people who have, and if you have a background in martial arts, music, and dance, that's a plus. So, I got a plane ticket and went to the audition. End up doing like a capoeira performance for the casting director, just kind of like out of the blue. Wasn't even like prepared to do any of that. Wasn't dressed for it, but happened to do it. And then later on, they called me, and here I am getting fitted in the Border Tribe outfits and learning fight choreography for the film.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Any has that led to any aspirations for more roles or?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That's the reason why I'm actually one of the reasons why I'm in Atlanta. Because the opportunity to continue my work in capoeira, but also take that to the next level and get involved in film and present capoeira in film to the same levels of Tony Jaa when he was doing with Muay Thai and Muay Baran, Aiko Uwais with Silat, Donnie Yen with Wing Chun and all of the Ip Man series. So I'm using those guys as a template because they, they're promoting, they're basically an ambassador for their martial art. But also the culture that it comes from. So you see, amazing fight choreography, but also, there's times where, they show the Thai culture with, Tony Jaa raising his elephants. And then also, the philosophies, with Chinese Kung Fu and Wing Chun and that whole thing as well. So I want to do the same with Capoeira, showing the Afro-Brazilian culture and philosophies, along with the efficient fighting choreography, dynamic techniques, and things like that.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I've been arguing or saying or I don't know what
yelling.
Yeah, that there needs to be or there will be soon coming something that will get people onto Capoeira. There'll be another Only the Strong, or another The Perfect Weapon, or another Taken, or UFC. There's going to be something in pop culture that's going to come out, and it's going to really drive people to Capoeira, which kind of like UFC and the Gracies got everybody doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Taken had everybody doing like Krav Maga, and
Right.
so I think there's something on the horizon for Capoeira. I'm just waiting for that to happen. So good to hear that you're on the track for making that happen. And
yes, sir. I'm in the process of this year. This year, I'm going to release a Capoeira action short. On YouTube, on Instagram. So once that's done, please share it and spread the word, because I'm putting a lot of time and energy to do a good representation of the art form in this particular kind of scenario of fight film choreography as well.
Gotcha. Very nice. Yeah. No, I will definitely get all those links and things in the show notes, and make sure that I share it out to everybody. I mean, I've already told everybody. It's like, well, I know a guy that was in Black Panther, so gotta get a little juice off you there.
Of course.
Very nice, very nice. So I'm curious if you have any thoughts about. So they have these capoeira competitions, and I'm not super familiar with how they work or anything, but I had this kind of thought. Looking at things like jiu-jitsu, there's this kind of debate about in jiu-jitsu the sport aspect and the kind of the martial art aspect. The same thing kind of happens in like the Taekwondo world, where you have your Olympic Taekwondo, and that's getting away from the traditional Taekwondo. And I sort of kind of see the same thing in Capoeira with these Capoeira competitions, and I'm curious. I'm thinking that maybe there should be like a sport Capoeira, and then your quote unquote traditional Capoeira. And so I'm curious if you have any kind of thoughts about that, or have any kind of experience with some of these competitions or anything.
Yeah, I have experience with it, just because I was in Bahia when they had the Red Bull tournament for Capoeira. And my teacher, Master Daniel, he was one of the judges. And with the Red Bull, they kind of like, they spin the wheel, and you have different rhythms that you have to play to. Some Capoeira Regional rhythms and things of that nature. And he's not only one of the judges, but kind of like gives the participants, that are going to be in the tournament, like actually training them and giving them some like, hey, when you play to this rhythm, which if it's a capoeira regional rhythm, which is what he, only speaks on, like this is how you move to the rhythm. This is how you like interact and things of that nature. But if you look at all of the tournaments, these capoeira tournaments, it is only like 99%. It is only people from Contemporânea. You don't see any Angoleros. You don't see any regionais practitioners. And that's not good or bad. It's just an observation. And it just is what it is. There can be some benefit to these tournaments, and then also it could just kind of go off on the side of like, okay, who is the most athletic and who's the most aggressive?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most acrobatic? And can demonstrate that in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. There like with everything, there's pros and cons.
Gotcha.
But just wanted to make that observation that it's only practitioners from contemporary schools.
Gotcha. Now, how does like the scoring work and that sort of thing, or how do they judge? What do they judge you on, or?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure on how they break it down. I know that if it's beyond just who kicks who, because then it's just then it's just a fight, literally. But who can like show good technique? Who can like maybe kick or do a takedown that's like clean? And if you get kicked or get swept or receive a takedown, how do you reverse it, or how do you land like a capoeirista, or do you fall on your butt? Are you playing within the cadence of the rhythm? Like all those things are a factor, but to what standard is different from tournament to tournament, because there's the Red Bull tournament, there's Volta Mundo Bombas, I think. You have the Red Bull tournament that happens in Bahia. You have this other Bombas tournament that happens like in Rio. And yeah, there's seems to be more and more of these tournaments kind of popping up, because there would be tournaments, in the individual schools, like Abadade's been having their, capoeira tournaments for forever. And then like, Capoeira Muzenza, they have their thing. So the really big schools tend to do like their own individual things.
Okay.
As far as stuff. Okay. But yeah.
Gotcha. Very nice. So in where would you like to see capoeira head in as we go into the future? So now that there's MMA and it's getting all its big attention, and all these different other arts are trying to get more exposure. Trying to get we have judo and taekwondo and stuff in the Olympics. There's karate trying to get into the Olympics and things like that. But besides just having capoeira be more spread and more people familiar with it, what kind of things would you like to envision for the future of capoeira?
I would like to see more like mentoring and social justice work with capoeira. Now in Brazil, there's more and more people teaching capoeira in schools, like actual schools, elementaries, universities. And I think that is something positive for the art form, because if you think about it, it's an art form that was developed by, enslaved Africans, Black people. It had a bad reputation as being, capoeira is just something that the poor Blacks do. And now it's in, formal learning institutions. And the people who are teaching are in positions of like mentoring kids about the hardships of life, and how to deal with those situations, how to avoid those situations, how to navigate those situations. And I think, me personally, that's more impactful than just having, a studio full of people who come, kick, cartwheel, sweat. That's great. But I think really using the elements of capoeira that bring people together, and starting with the youth, and being leaders for the youth, that's really going to kind of promote global change. And it's one of the, philosophies of like, hey, if you want to plan for the future, then you should teach children.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or it's like, if plan is for like 100 years, I'm going to find the quote,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So that's what I see.
All right. And in kind of the reverse, I guess kind of the reverse of that, what are things, over your years of training that maybe capoeiristas are not doing today that maybe they used to do, or things that have kind of gone away that you'd like to see come back, if there's anything like that?
Just I want to say a little bit more of the challenge as you get to a higher level. I want to say, like, just it seems like you really, the more and more people that train it, then you kind of just get less and less people who are like really, really good,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there's less people training, everybody is like, everybody is training their butt off to like be good with the music, because like, if there's a limited amount of people training, then, everyone needs to train hard. But if you have like tons of people training, they don't get as much attention, from the teacher or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, you had to be good with all aspects, like the music, your technique, your takedowns, like all of that stuff. But again, not everyone who comes to capoeira, has that desire. But I think it was just kind of like the expectation when you come to the door. Not that it's lacking, but I can feel like, hey, to just continue to have that strong, sharp capoeira as well,
Yeah.
And then the other thing, just real quick, I wanted to make sure I do the quote justice. It says that if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children.
Yeah, I like that. That's
It's Confucius.
very nice. I like that. So, so one other item that I want to get onto before we hit our lightning round here. So one of my jiu-jitsu coaches recently started capoeira. And I love watching him, because it just brings back all of those memories of when I started, and kind of the frustration and soreness that comes from training. I told him that probably the first 6 months of my capoeira training, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk, and I dreaded the fact that I had stairs in my apartment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what would, for those that are new to capoeira, or people that are maybe looking at getting into capoeira, what would be your advice for those folks?
My advice for people wanting to get into capoeira.
I would say let's split it up. So for those that are looking to get into it, and then a separate for those that have recently started. What would you give them to motivate them to keep going, and just advice for new students in general?
Yeah. I would say the motivation for the people who are in it, like, search out inspiration, like, read books on, hold on one second. Sorry. I would say for people who are, already in capoeira, like, to read books, get inspired, look for different ways to get inspired, travel, train, go to different events, train with different teachers, go to different halls, because if your learning is very limited, if you stay kind of like in the bubble, it's very easy to just be content. But when you start to travel, or, even your school that may bring new people in, and they, give classes and things like that, like, that's very important. And it's going to help you get inspired. Definitely travel to Brazil. If your, headquarters is there in Brazil, go to the source of all aspects of capoeira, not just your school, but also, the source for different Angola schools, the source for Capoeira Regional with Mestre Nanel as well. So that's what I'm thinking.
I like it.
For the for those who are already training. For the ones who are looking to get into it, just enjoy the process, because everything is going to be new, exciting, awkward, and challenging. So just enjoy it.
I like it. All right, so we're going to move to our lightning round here as we head towards wrapping up. So I've got a few little questions here for you. First one being, do you have a favorite technique? Maybe like a...
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, my favorite technique is the Vingativa.
Oh, nice. Yes, that is a great one. Great one. I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The next question, I'm going to change this up since we don't have katas or forms in capoeira. I'm going to ask, do you have a favorite rhythm?
I do like Idalina Compassada.
Nice. I like that one. I like that. Good one. All right. Next question. Do you have a favorite weapon?
My mind.
That is a great answer. That is a great answer. I like it. All right. And then the last question, if there's anyone that you could train with, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional, who would that be?
Repeat the question one more time. Sorry.
If there's anyone that you could train with, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional, who would that be?
Bruce Lee.
Of course. I will definitely have to post a link. I do recall on at least one occasion you dressed up as Bruce Leroy for Halloween. We're definitely gonna have to get that picture back out in circulation.
The Last Dragon.
Very nice. I like it. All right, so we are now at our point for shameless self-promotion. So if there's anything you want to plug or anything
shameless
else, anything else you want to get out there that we haven't said, go ahead and you have the floor, and then we'll close out from there.
Okay, awesome. If anyone wants to continue following me or would like to follow me and get more information about capoeira in general, not just the capoeira that I represent. It was funny because one of my friends called me like a capoeira encyclopedia. My Socials is for on Instagram, it's Mr. Malandro. And then from there, it has all the links of, Capoeira ATL, Capoeira Bay Area. Also, I have my own Capoeira clothing brand. It's called Capoeira. That is also on one of the links on my socials, CAPUWEAR, Capoeira. And also proceeds from the purchases will go towards our Kids Capoeira Fund that will help assist instructors who work with youth and help cover, their expenses, because most of them do it for free out of the kindness of their heart. And we want to make sure that the kids, as many kids as possible, can continue to do capoeira, because it's very amazing, very beneficial for them. And I believe that's it.
All right. Well, sounds good. We'll make sure to get all your links and stuff in the show notes. And I thank you so much for taking the time to tell me your story. We'll definitely have to do this again and let you get back to your relaxation and enjoyment of what you're doing there. And I just thank you again for being on, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate the work that you're doing.
All right. Thank you. You have a good day.
All right, you too.